But chat, gentlemen on the panel, we got to get into Forza Horizon 6. And look, the truth of the matter is that I don't think I personally could have painted this picture as we see it. There is a Picasso about to potentially be put on display. I'm not a marketing manager. I don't have a marketing degree at all. And, I was one of the many vocal Xbox guys that were like, hey, what's Horizon 6? Why wasn't it at the June showcase? I mean, that's kind of the biggest showcase of the year for Xbox. And well, now, folks, Nate the Hate has basically broken the story on the fact that it's all but confirmed that at this year's Tokyo Game Show that is happening in September in Japan, Xbox is not only going to be there in a big way, because we kind of knew it. They already told us they were going to be there, but they're going to be unveiling Forza Horizon 6 in freaking Japan. Now, if you remember last week, we talked about it briefly on Primetime Gaming, where someone had posted on IG or Instagram, for, of course, the old men like me, that they were in Japan and taking photogrammetry of Japanese cars. Now, that had some pushback. Some people are like, well, they kind of, the Japanese cars in there, and it's probably just standard fare. And then, of course, you have, Umbra, this story from Nate the Hate. And basically, he said, unless there is a massive pivot, you can expect that at this year's Tokyo Game Show, Forza Horizon 6 in Japan, something that every fan of the series has been asking and pleading and begging for, is ultimately happening. And I think that not only is that so massive of an announcement, but to take the center stage. Look, there's going to be a lot of games shown at the Tokyo Game Show that are going to be for that region of the world. But like Capcom is going to be there in a big way. They're showing all of the Resident Evil stuff. There's a bunch of stuff that they're showing. There's a new Resident Evil game that I think is like a tactics game or something that's happening. They're going to have a lot to show. I'm sure a lot of the big Japanese companies like Square Enix is going to be there in force. But I got to be honest with you, Umbra. If you take center stage at this showcase, and of course, I said this in the green room, I've said it privately, I've said it publicly. You've just heard Paris talk about it. You've just heard both Umbra and Jamie talk about the ROG Ally Xbox, or the ROG Xbox Ally. I always say it backwards. It really did take over the zeitgeist conversation of Gamescom. Now you're talking about bringing a racing game in the region that they're going to be in, making this announcement at the Tokyo Game Show. Look, folks, maybe you don't think that this handheld is up your personal alley, pun intended, but it is not just for America. They are looking to expand Xbox and Play Anywhere in other regions, more specifically in the East. Japan, China, Korea. It's a thing. They're trying to get into those regions, and what will sell is a handheld. What will sell incredibly well, a $500 priced handheld. Like Paris was saying, they pulled back the price. I think he might be onto something. But bringing it all the way back to Forza Horizon 6, do I think this is going to be a multi-tiered release? I absolutely do. I think it's day and date on PlayStation, Xbox, and on PC. And you know what? Good for everyone, because that's a game that by end of weekend, 10 million players, and it's going to sell like ridiculous hotcakes. I want to get your thoughts on this. How big of a deal, Bambara, do you think Forza Horizon 6 going to Japan and being announced at the Tokyo Game Show?
Oh, I thought you had more to add to the end of that.
No.
Now, like, I think it's a pretty big deal. I feel like, one, I got to give credit to Xbox on properly plotting out their content. If you're going to have it where they had their summer show to show everything they showed, then they had things to show here at Gamescom, and now they're going to have that specifically for Tokyo Game Show. I just got to give them credit for balancing out their IP properly. It's kind of funny thinking about where they've come from to where they're at now in that regard. That will be very monumental. 2012, y'all. Forza Horizon came out in 2012, the first game. Fans have been asking for Japan as a location since 2012.
Yep.
Like literally. So this is years in the making, if true, and I will say it seems to be the case from Windows Central Gaming also having documentation that Nate the Hate backed. So it was Windows Central, I guess, that spoke on it first, and Nate the Hate had corroborated that. So yeah, I feel like it's a foregone conclusion now. I mean, Nate the Hate has a very good track record. Windows Central tends to have one as well. So going from that to having actual locale in Japan, something most of us have wanted for a long time. They also did have some in Forza Horizon 5. They did get some more official car parts and such from Japan officially put into the game as well, probably alluding to like where they were headed with that. And I guess the whole rumor started from the guy taking pictures of the key car, the key car out there, but they've been in past games as well, so that's not a confirmation. But if Nate the Hate and Windows Central, both of them are saying it, I will take that with less salt, I suppose, than other times. I'm inclined to believe it. I don't know how massive it would be. What I will say is that I appreciate that Xbox is spreading their gaming content around for more than just the summer show. Like and I've said this before. I said Xbox, if we didn't have Xbox to talk about, we wouldn't have nothing to talk about in gaming. And that still remains true.
Yeah, I agree.
So like they carried last year, they're carrying this year as far as
they're gonna kill it next year because it's the 25th anniversary, and
25th anniversary. So much like you said, Boom, I'm of the mind now, hey, they've already brought Forza Horizon 5 over to PlayStation. I get some people, because I did see somebody was saying like, I wouldn't want them to bring it over because it's the 25th anniversary. I mean, I want $1 million, but that's not going to happen. So like I'm sorry to say it. It makes no sense for them not to bring it over at this point. They already brought over 5, so they're going to bring over 6, and I bet it is day and date as well. I agree. There's no reason for them not to now at this point. More people to play the game, more people to buy the game on PlayStation because they got a taste of greatness now with Forza Horizon 5. And we know how big PlayStation fans are with Japan in general. Yeah, I can see it doing extremely well. I'm all for it. I can't wait to see what it looks like. I'm also interested in seeing because one of my theories is with the whole situation that happened with Turn 10 is that there will be some type of fusion, if you will, that they will, right? Like they'll probably try to fuse in a sim aspect as well as an arcade part of Forza Horizon, so that you can have them like maybe a real racing circuit, and then actually get back to the arcadey style that the playground would put into the game. Obviously, I wonder if they would do something like that. I don't know, or will they just be kind of brought into the salt mines like the ABK teams have? I hope that's not the case, because Turn 10 is quality. It's just sad that they're going to be diminished to that point. But yeah, man, I'm super excited to see what they show us, and that's September, right? For the Tokyo Game Show. Yeah, but we're not far away, so we'll see. I believe it if these guys are saying Nate the Hate has a great track record. So if he's,
and so does Windows Central. Like I said, if it's just one or the other, I could see where people would be like, I don't know. But I think both of them, obviously I saw the story from Windows Central, which again, I will add to the show notes if you want to check it out. And I will also add Nate the Hate's tweet. So if you want to click on it and make a comment, you by all means you can. I think it's brilliant. And I think it's an easy layup, man. It really is. Like, if you're going to announce the next Forza and it is in Japan, why wouldn't you take an opportunity to announce it at the Tokyo Game Show? Like, and again, folks, this is marketing 101. And even though I didn't think about it, and the people that make the big bucks finally did something out of the box, I think this is a brilliant move. It has to happen first. And I believe, Nate, I also believe Windows Central.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
Just super excited though. Super excited to see what they show us. I mean, I've been a fan of Forza Horizon. All of us have before, like I said, since 2012. So I Playground, to me, I don't know if they can do wrong. I expect great things from. I don't even worry about them. That's why I'm not even worried about like Fable. I'm like, yeah, I expect great stuff. I don't know when we'll get it, but I expect great things. So I'm not. They've earned enough trust that we know they're going to deliver something great at pretty much every time. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Well, it's going to be very interesting, and it's going to be, again, we're here for it. That's what we do. We all have shows, and we're going to be talking about it because, again, September is right around the corner, and so is the Tokyo Game Show. But Jamie Moran, before we get to outros, we got to get your hot take on this because, again, look, if there's anything to say about Forza Horizon, and more specifically the series, is that it has dominated the conversation of arcade racing. Over 50 million people have played the game across Xbox, both, X and S, and PC, as well as the newly found audience on PlayStation 5. It is really something to be said that the best-selling game on PlayStation in 2025 is not one of their own first-party games. It is a 4-year-old racer that still looks and plays like it came out yesterday. And that is a really big deal. So, of course, this falls in line with the multi-plat strategy for Xbox. And, we had no idea how quickly or not they were going to get to day and date on Xbox and PC and PlayStation. And this is one of those games that just makes sense, right? Like, it just makes sense. They want to make maximum money. Like I said, I don't care how much they make. You put it into my service, and I can spend $30 to upgrade to the $100 edition. It's a winner chicken dinner for Boom. If you buy it on PlayStation and that's your console of choice, congratulations, you win too. If you play on PC, you're winning even more because your Game Pass is even cheaper. So no one loses here. The only one that loses in a situation like this is, of course, the internet a-holes, the trolls, and the console warriors. But again, I think that this is brilliant. I hope it does happen. It's going to be a moment. You've seen a lot of big moments for all of the platforms. This one would be a really big one on top of us potentially getting Fable next year. Obsidian is winning this year, and more so gamers are winning because they're putting out 3 games. And so far, Avowed, still my game of the year. People are absolutely loving Grounded 2. And did you see the previews? Because I watched all of them for The Outer Worlds 2, and that looks like that's going to be a masterpiece. So that's 3 bangers. Well, then now you move over to Playground Games, and you say, well, wait a second. Playground Games is no slouch. Not only are we getting Fable, which, by the way, looks amazing, we're getting Forza Horizon 6 potentially in Japan. Holy shit, did gamers win? Get your thoughts on them announcing it at the Tokyo Game Show.
I mean, it makes sense. Like Umber said, and like we've all been wanting, Japan has been like probably the most requested place for Forza Horizon to be set. And, you have to look at car culture. I think that having it set in Japan would change things up a bit because you're going to have, nighttime races, you're going to have neon lights everywhere. And I think, a lot of Fast and the Furious fans, myself included, are wanting drifting, right? We want really cool drifting mechanics, street racing at night, right? I think that's what they're going to aim towards. And having it announced at Tokyo Game Show, it just makes sense. You're going to cater to the gamers that live over there. You're going to cater to a majority of, I want to say, game journalists that have an unhealthy obsession with Japan. So because we all see it, but a lot of people have been wanting this for a long time. I think that it's the perfect place to show it off. Again, like Umber said, like I think if you go back a couple of years ago, Microsoft would save basically every announcement for their summer showcase. That's where the whole wait till E3 came from, because we would have to literally wait till E3 every year to get every announcement. Now, thankfully, Microsoft separates all of their announcements with months in between, and it's something else to look forward to. And last year Microsoft had a pretty decent presence at Tokyo Game Show, but it was mainly about getting Japanese games on the platform. There was a bunch of cool games announced there, so I think it's this time it's their turn to show something off for them. It could be really big. Forza Horizon doesn't get enough credit. On Xbox and Xbox and PC, it had over 40 million players, right? 40 million players, and then when I went to PlayStation, it's over 50 million now, right? It's a damn good racing game. I think the only thing you have to think about, and I've mentioned this before, is that Microsoft tends to pull the license for Forza Horizon like every four years, right? And my theory for the longest time is that this is them putting it on PlayStation is obviously going to get a bunch of money, but like we don't know how long the license is going to run for this game. Did they extend the license for this new for the PlayStation version? We don't know. For all we know, they could pull the game from the PlayStation Store next year. We just don't know. And then they'll be coming out with this brand new fancy one set in Japan. Either way, it's going to work out well for them. Like this is probably going to be the best selling Forza Horizon, because if it is on everything, it's going to sell day one. But also Japan, again, people have been wanting Japan since 2012, right? If they do it right, it might end up being one of the biggest racing games of all time. If you have, like, I think Mexico setting for Forza Horizon 5 is perfect, but I think something has to be said about setting it in Japan. Nighttime races, drag races, everything, right? So I think it's good that Microsoft seems that they're going to announce it there. It's only about a month away. But if the rumors are true, it's going to be really hype. I think a lot of people are going to love it.
Yeah. I you know what? Again, I don't care what brand you're a fan of, right? It could be all three, or it could be one or the other. But you gotta just moments like this, and again, folks, it's a rumor. It's a rumor that has been corroborated by many people. I've talked to a couple people behind the scenes that I can't say who I talked to that think this is real as well. So, again, hearing Windows Central's theory on it, hearing Nate's, my own connections, it sounds like it's like legit. And I kind of feel like this was a bit of a control leak to kind of get people excited. Folks, this is a moment, man. And it's a moment that I think can be celebrated by all three platforms. If you're an Xbox guy or girl, awesome. If you play on PC, even better. If you play on PlayStation 5 and you just got a taste because you weren't an Xbox person, you're not an Xbox player, you've heard about Forza, you've seen the video, it's like, and now you're playing it and you're like, my God, this is the greatest thing. This is, a come to Jesus moment for you for racing games, right? If you get Forza Horizon 6 day and date on your PlayStation, guess what? Celebrate it. If you're an Xbox player, celebrate it. If you're a PC player, celebrate it. This is one of those gaming moments that you just have to smile. Like, you just have to sit back in your chair and be like, wow. Gaming has really advanced in a way where it doesn't matter where you play, but you're enjoying it. And again, folks, it's harder for others. It was difficult for me. I had to accept these changes, and now I'm like, you know what? I had some grief. I had some, some swearing. I had some, concerns, and now I'm like, yeah, whatever, because that's just the way the world works. But this is a moment, and again, if it does happen like it's being set up to happen, my God, it is such a W for gamers, but it's a W for Playground, because again, they don't miss, folks. They just don't. And if they can have a banger year where not only do they bookend the year starting with Fable, because I think Fable's first, at least the first half, maybe first quarter. Again, that's just my thought and theory. And then on the back end of the year, October, November, you get a New Horizon in Japan. Holy cow. Talk about bookending the year. And it's a year, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to come where you're celebrating the 25th anniversary of the platform, the 25th anniversary of Chief and Halo Combat Evolved, the 20th anniversary of Gears of War. I mean, my God, 2026 is going to be a banger year for Xbox and everyone that plays there.